Hi,
Hi there.
how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I am good.
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 What office are you out of?
I'm in Klamath Falls.
Oh, I am too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a newbie.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
That's very exciting. Do you live here in Klamath?
Yes, ma'am.
Sweet.
Yeah, I live out on 140 on the way to the Running Y in Southview.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Did you just get licensed?
Yes, ma'am. 2 months ago.
How do you like it?
So far, so good.
Good. Good.
A
It's
lot of
fun.
stuff.
It can be fun at times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You've got to make fun, make it enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
What
something I wanted to do, so
what did you do before?
I was in construction for quite a few years. But
That's
then the
good.
last 6 years, I've been a notary signing agent,
Interesting.
doing mortgages, refis.
Yeah,
So I'm the guy that comes to the door and with a bunch of papers and
the
has
whole
you
smile.
sign them.
I feel like those all kind of go like hand in hand with real estate though.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of what pushed me to go to real estate was I just wanted to learn a little more about it. So
Yeah, you might as well. I feel
yeah,
like getting your real estate license is one of those things like if you're doing other stuff or whatever, like it doesn't really hurt to have and you can get it and if you like it, great. If you don't like it,
yeah.
okay.
I don't think I'll ever let it go as hard as it was to get.
Right. I feel that
Yeah, it took me close to 7 months.
to get licensed.
Yeah. Of course, it was kind of, I'd study a little bit each day.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you work your way through it.
Yeah. I passed the test on the second time, so that was good.
Good. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
There we go. Can you see both my screens?
I can see the Ignite screen.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay. They're having me teach this thing today and I have not done this very much. I'm like normally I'm the one on the Zoom, so um wanted to make sure everything went smooth.
Okay.
Have you been doing all the Ignite classes?
This is like my third one,
Yeah. How's it
so
going?
I'm trying to hit them as they come up.
Nice. Let's see. I don't know if I need to admit all.
Oh, I lost you. There you are.
There we go. Can you guys
Operator error.
can you hear me and see me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just give it a couple more minutes and see if anybody else comes in here.
Sure.
Because I think, let's see. There. Hi guys.
Hi.
Okay. Well, are any of you guys over in the market center?
No.
Hi. I can't see them, but I think I'll just get started. Let's see. Okay, you guys can see both screens
Yes,
and everybody can hear me good?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi. So, admittedly, I have not taught very many of these, so you guys bear with me as I make my way through this PowerPoint. But I am excited because I think that communicating with leads is something that can be kind of hard to keep track of sometimes, and you can kind of like run out of fun ideas. So I think that this is a fun topic for today. And it can spark some creativity for different ways to communicate with your leads that you might not have thought of before. So have you guys all been doing the Ignite classes before this to gain leads? Or is anybody just hopping on this one today for the first one?
This is my third.
Okay,
I've been on all of them.
you've been on all of them. How's it going so far?
Well, I'm not licensed yet, so it's hard to do the lead gen stuff, but I've been building my sphere and obviously taking in as much information from all the classes as I can.
Sweet. Where are you at?
Sunset Corridor.
Okay, where are you at, Brett? Oh, I think your mic's off.
Yeah, sorry. That's the, the excuse of the millennium, isn't it? No, you're on mute. But I'm in Days Creek.
Okay. There's one more in here. Your name just says iPhone.
Mama, can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Yeah. This is my first one.
This is your first one? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to try to help like flow into the other classes if I can, but obviously there's a couple of you that didn't take those ones, so that's fine. This will still be relevant. Okay, so I'm gonna get this show on the road so we can get through this, guys. I'm Kaylin Robinette. I'm over here in Klamath Falls, Oregon. And I have been licensed for 5 years and I'm gonna be going into my 6th year. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've got 2 boys and I work this full time. And I'm pretty busy. Like each year it's growing. And this year I'm close to closing 50 deals, which I guess is why they asked me to help teach this. So even though I'm a stay-at-home mom, I got the snowball going and things are going great. So I feel like lead generation is something that like I said, it can just be kind of like a bounce around different ideas and you can learn something new that might make it easier to stay in touch with people and make it feel less make it feel more fun. So anyways, hopefully I can help convey some of that to you guys. So I think, let's see, there's like people in the waiting room and I think I have to let them all in. There we go. Is everybody in here now? Think so. Okay. Hopefully I don't leave anybody in the waiting room later. Wonder. Okay. All right, guys. So obviously you learned about generating leads if you were in the other class, how to get those leads, and like you were talking about your sphere and your circle of people that you're already talking to. So this is going to kind of go over ways to stay in touch with them. And I've got my notes here. So if you guys see me looking down, that's what I'm going over to make sure I don't forget anything. Because I feel like there's quite a bit of stuff in here to talk about, but I'm gonna work my way through it. And then if you guys have questions, you can always stop me. We've got lots of time to make our way through this stuff. And then things that I think are more important or that have helped me remember things, I'll stop and talk more about those things. So obviously this is the class after gaining leads. So now we're going to learn how to follow up with the leads. You guys have already learned how to become the real estate expert if you're licensed, and even if you're not licensed, you're still learning how to make those things be relevant in your day-to-day life to stay at people's top of mind. I feel like that's a huge part of real estate, is just staying in people's forethought. So whenever they do need help with real estate, they're who you think of. So today we're going to learn about keeping all of your leads, following up with them, not letting them fall through the cracks, strengthening your relationships with your leads, and how to help move them to the closing table, basically. So you guys all have those little work packets too? Yeah. I think mine is a little bit different than yours. So like I said, if there's something in here that you guys have questions about, just, I think you can do like a hand raise thing or just hop in and talk.
Okay.
And we can like bounce ideas off of each other.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So, the success system. Have you guys been doing that where you go home after each day and you guys, you know, put it into effect what you guys have learned previously? And does anybody have anything successful to share that has happened?
Nothing successful yet.
But you've been working on it?
Yeah, somewhat, yes.
What have you been doing?
Oh, I've been out trying to meet people, different areas, different places.
Are you like leaving business cards, or do you feel like it's mostly digital that you're talking to people
No, I leave business cards. I carry a pocket full all the time.
and leaving them places and trying
Yeah,
to,
correct. Yeah, I go in and try to meet maybe the manager of the store or the owner of the place or something, and
right?
just introduce myself and just say,
Yeah.
if there's anything I can do for you, just give me a call.
When you need a house, you know who to call. Yeah. I feel like real estate is one of those things people everywhere are always going to need to buy and sell houses inevitably, even if they don't want to. Sometimes things happen, you know, people pass away or they get married or have more babies or life changes and jobs. And so people are always going to need to be moving, and you just kind of never really know when one of those doors might open because, I can say solidly the past 5 years, like there's people that circle back around, but there's people that I'm helping buy houses now that I showed houses to in 2021. Like it
Yeah,
sometimes can
yeah.
take people a really long time to get to the spot where they're actually ready to pull the trigger on something. And so like lead generation itself can just be kind of how you live your day-to-day life, you know, making connections and building those relationships with people in your community. But then how you choose to follow up with those leads is like a whole different system. So yeah, that's what we're going to work our way through. I think something important is, and I'm probably skipping ahead here, but like databases. Have you guys been learning a little bit about keeping databases to import those leads into so that you can keep track of people like that?
There again, somewhat, just kind of
A little
starting
bit.
on it.
Okay. This is kind of what we're going to work through today. What is lead follow-up, how you're talking to people, how to do it, what you do after you do it, and then some of those aha moments, and then that daily success system. Anybody have any questions so far?
Not yet.
Okay. Right now we're going to talk about what is lead follow-up. So the life of a lead. Oh, where are we going? Back to the beginning. The life of a lead when it's a little fresh baby lead, this is where this timeline can take sometimes a really long time. And maybe it's like a family member or a friend or just any of those like really tight sphere connections you already have. And then there's kind of like your fuzzy sphere, and that just continues to expand. Yeah, so over time you'll see people, and then you'll start to get that rollover too, where you sell somebody a house here, you sell somebody a house as soon as you get licensed. Well, they live in it for 2, 5, 10 years, and then you're reselling that house again later. So it does kind of start to roll over. But building the framework, this is where I think the framework that sometimes falls between the cracks, but is super helpful, is having some sort of database, some way to keep track of stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I still use a notebook. I am like a creature of habit. So my recommendation is just finding something that works really good for you and sticking to it. So I have like I fill up like a notebook every 6 months. So I pack around a notebook with me in my truck anytime I go on a trip, anywhere I go, and anytime I talk to somebody or people will call or text, I just make a little note section, who they are, what they're talking about, whatever. And for me, that's the easiest way to go back. We'll get to this towards the end, but Command has really great ways you can enter all of your opportunities and contacts into Command. Command has so much stuff that you could keep track of anything you needed to in there, which is, like I said, we're going to get to that towards the end. But I think that that's just like, if I was a baby realtor starting out, that's something that would be really important, is just finding a way that is consistent and comfortable to keep track of those leads. Because even if it's your neighbor that mentioned, hey, in a couple years, I'm going to retire and I might sell my house or whatever, you can start to make the habit of keeping track of those contacts. And I usually put like the name and the date and any information you have about it, an email, what they're interested in. And then over time, you'll have compiled, hopefully, a whole pile of people that you can go back and talk to. If you aren't first or second in their mind, you probably won't get the business, which I know to be true. I think that however we choose to all do our own marketing, obviously everybody is different, but how we choose to contact our leads, we can control that. Some aha moments. Anybody having an aha moment? Maybe not yet. How to lead follow-up. Okay, so this is like, this is a recipe to follow up with leads. 19 to connect, which seems like a lot, but when you start doing this and you go down the list, it actually goes by pretty quickly. So 4 touches, which is quarterly phone calls, 12 touches, which could be monthly emails, newsletter, marketing report, video, like some people do magazines, postcards, anything like that. 2 touches, which is promotional or direct. In an annual event, which equals 19 a year per lead, which, like I said, seems like a lot, but I'm going to circle back to that. 1 high value touch that solidifies the relationship. And then contacts, which is kind of over here in my corner. Oh no. Here we go. So your leads are different than your contacts, right? So leads are people that are in a different category moving their way through your system. And then your contacts, your whole list, right? So let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything important in here. When I think of this many touches you're wanting to make with people, my mind immediately is like, trying to think of something creative, something non-cheesy that feels personal. And I think that that's where a lot of people get hung up at, maybe, is like you're nervous to make the call or to make the text or to send the postcards, and maybe you let that fear hold you back from actually doing it. My advice is to just do it. Just get out of your own head, because if you're not going to do it, then somebody else is going to, and then that's the realtor that's going to be top of mind for them. And if you spend all day criticizing like your postcard you make, and you're trying to nail this like perfectly executed line every time you call somebody or something, you're going to hold yourself back from doing it at all. And something is always better than nothing. And what I have learned is that just being genuinely myself, that's always what pays off the best. And that's what I think goes longer with your leads, is, they came to you for a reason and you're talking to them for a reason. And so they don't really want some generic blah, blah, blah. Just be yourself, just send them a text message. Something that I think is important, I think, is this section we're in right now, because I can share ideas that I have learned over the years that are like realistic and I think easy to apply. So with these different leads and contacts, you guys can apply this however you want to, but I think just taking anything away from it will help. Any step towards communicating with them, like I said, is better than nothing. So being realistic with yourself about how much you can do and what you're comfortable doing just kind of gets the little snowball going that will then lead you to want to do more to talk to them. Quarterly phone calls. Does anybody have like any solid conversations that they want to share that they've had on the phone with clients that have been successful or unsuccessful and how it went? That's okay. I think that if you're making phone calls to people, they get to hear your voice, and that's always beneficial because they kind of like remember that you're a real person. These 12 touches down here, monthly email, newsletters, market reports, that's easy. You can set up newsletters so easily. You can go in Canva, you can make this stuff practically for free. So then as long as you've kept good track of your database, you're able to send out something like that nearly automatically. So you almost don't even have to think about it. But then as your database grows and you get 100, 1,000 people in that, they'll still be getting something from you every month at least. The direct mail, such as magnet, calendar, something that I like, this is just kind of brainstorming right now, so we can go back and forth. Things that I have found over the years that different years I do different things. Depending on where you guys are at, a really good one is you can get templates for like a calendar that's a magnet to hang on the fridge that coincides with a school calendar. So if there's like high school football games or holiday events, things like that, and those calendars, you know, they're only a couple bucks. You can mail those to people, or say your kids, you know, the school that your kids go to. There's different ways that you can do stuff like this. I've also seen where people do, you see, you can set up like a landing page though, and you can gather more leads from it, but I'm going to try not to focus too much on that because theoretically, with today's class, you've already gained the leads. You're just trying to keep in contact with them. So you can mail out fun things like that. You can make magnets like for dishwashers. I do those. So everybody's home anniversary. So on my calendar, it's every year that, you know, somebody bought a house 1 year ago. So on their 1 year anniversary, they get a card from me. That's like a fun card. Sometimes I throw in just like a little coffee gift card, and then I have magnets made that are for your dishwasher that says clean and dirty, so you can flip them upside down. And it's just very simple, but it has my logo on it. There is so many things that you can make like that. And if you guys are taking notes, a really good website is Market Dwellings. You can go on there and you can order cards, magnets, notebooks, anything like that. I think falls really well into that category because it's something kind of fun. And they're probably not going to throw it away, right? They're probably going to keep it because they want to keep looking at it.
You said
And then,
market what?
oh, Market Dwellings.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think if you go down that rabbit hole and you're looking at Market Dwellings, you'll probably find other websites. Once you kind of start to open that door, there's a lot of places out there that you can make fun little real estate kind of swag gifts like that. And, you know, depending on how many people you're sending them to, like I said, you can change it each year, how many you send out, what you send out. Obviously, once I do like a once a year anniversary card, I'm not going to send them the same thing again next year. I'll probably just send them something different. Or just then move them from my, you know, they're in the once a year anniversary category because they bought a house. Then they get moved to a different section of my CRM where they just get regular contact, you know, because they're not a hot buyer right now. They will be selling at some point though. So you don't want to let them fall through the cracks, but you also don't need to like congratulate them every year on their house. I suppose you can if you want to, but you know, you get the point. Are we stuck? Okay, there we go. There we go. What are my strengths when working with people? What are reasons I might have for contacting a lead? That's where I feel like people get hung up because you don't want it to be something like, I don't know. We all have different business practice, which I think is what makes us all great. So something else to consider with those leads is like if you're on Facebook, having Facebook friends, if that's what you're into, If people have their birthdays on there, that's another really good way to keep track of people, because I don't do this daily, but at times I will try to be more diligent with checking in on that, so that I know when it's people's birthdays and I can like at least tell them happy birthday or message them. Or when I'm feeling super motivated, if it's like good people in my tight sphere, I'll just send them a Starbucks gift card for like $5 or $10. You can just go into the Starbucks app, make a gift card, and you can just get a link, send it straight to them. So I've done that before. I'll send it to people's Facebook Messenger, and obviously they always see it. They're always super excited. That's a affordable, easy way to get some more touches in that don't require a salesy conversation. It's not you like calling to see if they want to buy or sell a house. It's just you being really thoughtful and considerate, which is ultimately what I think we want to do as humans, is show them like that we're genuine people, happy birthday, here's a coffee card, no strings attached. So that can be another fun thing. And then how am I using conversations to let people know I am in real estate? So like with the coffee cards, it has a to and from when it's a digital one, or paper ones. You could mail them out too and put from Ken's Real Estate or whatever. You should be careful saying that, because you have to be careful what you call your real estate stuff. That's a different conversation, but you get the point. So like when I send them, I'll say Kaylin the realtor with a little heart or something like that. Super simple. So obviously they know it's from me, but like real estate is what's sponsoring it type of thing. It doesn't always have to be flashy front and center. It can be just subtle ways. And over time, they are not going to forget that you're a realtor. They will remember. When is it best for me and my business to time block or lead follow-up? That's very individual. I don't know if anybody else in here is a parent, but I am, and time blocking can be tricky and
Sporadic.
yes, not always consistent. And like I said, I've learned to remember that something is better than nothing. And even days when the kids are screaming and I am not going to talk to somebody on the phone, I can send a couple messages or a couple Facebook messages, and just stay top of mind. Another thought is just commenting, like just engaging with people. If you use social media, that's a really great way to get in some of those touches without doing anything over the top. So, commenting on if they post a picture or anything like that, people will see those, and then in turn, it boosts you back. So just staying relevant and popping in every once in a while to comment on stuff helps. How much time should it take to reach out to a lead? What will I do to hold myself accountable? How much time would you guys want to spend daily or weekly talking to leads?
You should probably spend an hour a day minimum, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you could talk to anywhere from 4 to maybe 8 people in that hour.
You're right. You could. If you set aside an hour to talk to people and you were having like 5 to 10 minute conversations, that's even a decent conversation. I feel like, I don't know, a percentage of those people probably aren't going to answer, so you just leave them a voicemail anyways. And yeah, you could get a lot checked off of your list in an hour.
Yeah,
If you had
absolutely.
an hour. Yeah. Anybody else? Hey, so this goes back to that 19 touches, and this is developed by the top agent. So this formula makes sense. This is what works. When you're communicating with people this many times a year, that's your formula to end up converting those leads to real clients to get paid from. So this would be a good time for you guys to brainstorm anything fun that you think could be great ideas to use as connections with people. This is kind of where some of those ideas fall into play. Does anybody have any like really good ideas that we haven't talked about?
Actually, regarding lead generation, I do have one.
Yeah.
I went to First American yesterday and spoke to their business development person. And I'm going to share my screen here.
Okay. Oh,
Please tell me when you can see it.
I might have, yeah, I think it's coming through now. Here we go. Yep.
Okay, and this is free software that First American gives you, and it's really hugely powerful. I mean, one of the things that they can do is called farming, where you can look at a map of your area. Hopefully it'll allow me to open. I'm having bandwidth issues. That's why I've turned off my my camera.
That's okay.
Okay, it looks like it's coming in pretty a little quicker than it does. Allow. So farming, we'll do a boundary search. So, here's kind of the Roseburg area as an example. So I just put a pin in, drag my pin over here. In this case, I'm doing a boundary search. So it's going to search for properties in that area that that meet the criteria that I want to give it, and it's a very simple search to do. Bedrooms, it's an equal to or greater than. So bedrooms, I'm going to say 3. Bathrooms, I'm going to say 2. Then I'm going to get a count. Now it's going to tell me a count of all of the properties in that area. And then I can download the view. And again, apologies for the bandwidth issue here. It's taking a bit of time. But then it'll give me, a lot of excellent information, the address, the number of years that the property's been owned, and and where it is. So literally I could do, say, a mailing as an example for people who have lots of equity in their property. Okay, here's an example. When it was sold, the address, the area, when it was sold, what the value was when it was sold. I mean, the blue ones are the ones that you'd pay attention to because of those ones that are owned. The other ones are I believe are rentals. But I've got a booklet that will tell me. I just picked this up yesterday. So yeah, these are the green ones are rentals. So this one was sold in 2022. Not a lot of equity in there, but here's one that was sold in 2003. That guy might be looking to get rid of that house because, well, I don't know what it's like, but chances are he's got a lot of equity built in that.
Right. Yeah, that page on the title company, there's actually a lot of tools that they offer that you can play with for free to gather information.
Yeah, this is all free. I've kind of come late to the party with lead generation in respect to down here, but this is a way of getting the name, address, or name and address of properties who might be inclined to sell if they thought you had a qualified buyer. So you have to pay a fee to get their phone numbers, but there's nothing wrong with sending these guys a very simple letter that says, "Hey, I might have an interested buyer. Please contact me at my phone number."
Yeah.
So it tells you who owns that land?
Say again?
Does it tells you who owns that piece of property?
Yes, it tells you the owner. It tells you the address, the city, the zip, when it was sold, and then what it was sold for.
Sweet.
So as an example, let's go to the highest one. That was well, here's one in Myrtle Creek. that was sold in 2014 for 130,000. So as an example, this person might be looking to sell their home to cash in on their equity. No doubt if they've had it that long, they've got some equity built up in it. Of course, you'd have to examine that, but in the first place, you want to try to get an appointment with them to talk about it.
Right.
So I looked at this as an opportunity to generate real estate conversations with these people
Right.
based on a search that says, having knowledge of when they bought the house and how much they paid for it. There's even a search that you can do for houses that have been owned for 30 years. I mean, this is just a hugely powerful tool, and it's free, absolutely free. Unless you want telephone numbers, and then you have to pay for that. So I'll stop sharing. I didn't mean to jump in and take your class, but I'm really excited about this tool. I just saw it yesterday. I've got another meeting with Amerititle tomorrow. I'm kind of wondering what they're going to show me. But this has really got me excited about a lead generation, because I see this really making it happen for me.
Yeah. I'm glad that you shared that, because let me see if I can figure out how to get this back. Finding free resources to be able to use is like a key to being able to make 19 touches a year, right? If you're contacting people that many times, as much money as you can save while doing those is going to make you more efficient, and it's going to make you want to do more of them.
Yes.
Let's see where. Can you guys see my screen still, or am I gone?
Brett, quick question around this. So is the intent to reach out to these people that if they want to sell and you want to be the listing agent?
Could be, yeah. Yeah, because can you guys see my screens now?
There you go. That's it.
Yes. So when you're doing like farming like that, right? You're farming a resource, looking for neighborhoods or something. How you choose to market to them is really up to you. But like Brett was sharing,
A low bandwidth warning.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you now, but
Okay, I can hear you guys okay. Like ideally, yes, you would want to target those people as sellers going to list that home. And like he said, there's so much you can dig into with that. If you're just looking at a broad spectrum, like maybe certain neighborhoods, that's what I would recommend. When I was doing farming like that, I would work on the neighborhood I lived in, the area I lived in, because I knew that pocket really well. And so you could send postcards like I sold this house, this house, this house. You can fit those on a postcard, like just sold in your neighborhood type of thing. Call me if you're looking to sell. You can send something super generic. If you're a newer agent and you don't have a lot of stats to use, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make postcards like a fun fall postcard. I know a lot of people do like a recipe or something fun for the holidays. You could make postcards about fall events. Every time I do fall events on Facebook, I run it as an ad. That gets a ton of engagement because I'll compose a huge list of fall events in my area, fall through holiday, and that targets a wide net of people because you're looking at people that might just be like single adults, families, people with kids, older people, younger people. When you have a list of different things going on in your area, it also kind of makes you feel like the area expert, and people will naturally kind of look to you for advice. So even if you don't have real estate stats to use, you can just send out something generic and obviously put your real estate information on it. And just a simple note, like keep me in mind if you're looking to move. Another one I know people do is like for the new year, new goals, new house, something like that. It doesn't have to be loaded with stats, but it could still be just something fun and catchy you can mail out to people.
Just reference that thing that I just showed you from First American. They will produce postcards for hanging on doors for nothing.
which is crazy.
And then inside that system, you could go to, I could have highlighted a neighborhood and then looked at the homes that were for sale in that neighborhood, or looked at all of the homes that they have stats on in that neighborhood and selected the oldest ones. And then it would create a walking tour map of how to get to each one of those places in the neighborhood
Yes,
for
it'll
nothing.
map it for you. I know.
And then I could ask First American for things to hang on door.
Yeah. I think that,
And it's free.
yeah, it's free, which is the important thing. This screen right here just kind of helps.
Well,
So
they don't have a job unless we sell houses.
oh, I can't hear you very good. What was that?
They don't really have a job unless we sell houses.
Correct.
Right.
Something else that I want to add in here. This morning I watched a program that Envoy, you can get a whole bunch of free things from them too. Open house signs, and you just have to find your person in your area and you can order from him all sorts of signs and I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So you'd have to look into it.
That is a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. This is a great time to take notes and kind of collaborate for ideas like that, because the odds of you guys taking, like, realistically all of this and going and doing all of it this month is slim. But if you can take a couple of them and start implementing these over time, that's where it starts to make a difference. So even if you're like, hey, I can check Facebook birthdays and I can start making a postcard, that's something. And once you start with something, I feel like it is encouraging, because you'll probably hear back from somebody. If you're mailing stuff to a whole neighborhood, or you're walking around to a whole neighborhood, like, you're going to have at least conversations with somebody. Somebody's going to talk to you, and then you just keep going with it. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have a quick question
Yeah.
regarding the I guess the mailers and all of the media that these different companies offer, like Envoy and First American. It's all co-branded, right? Or is there an option to have only your branding on it?
I think most of it is co-branded.
Yeah.
If you use the materials from them, but you can
Okay.
take, like, farming information and put that into whatever you want. So there's, like, postcard companies. I have found typically using a postcard specific company is cheaper than mailing your own mail. So if you copy and paste, you can export a whole list of mailing addresses from one of these, like from the title company report. You can also use RPR to pull farming lists. And once you get that, you can export it, find a postcard company. And I mean, you can, like, if you guys all use Canva, or if you don't, I would recommend using Canva, because you can use that for free as well. And you can make your own designs, and obviously just make sure everything's okayed with your principal brokers for advertisement. That's something you guys have to be careful about. But as long as you're in compliance, you can make postcards, you can make little magazines, you could make brochures, you could make anything like that, and shop around for the most affordable way to print those things. But because postcards are cheaper than stamps, one website that I've used before is, it's like STANNP, Stamp. And I use them for postcards. So I'll grab my list of mailing addresses I want, whether it came from my database or farming a new area that I want to, upload that into a postcard website, upload my postcard design that I've made, and then you just pay them to ship it out for you. And I always send one to myself. I recommend sending it to yourself. Then you make sure, you get to see how it looks in person. And most of them have like a rough tracking on them, even with postcards through a company like that. But then you just see yourself when it gets delivered, which is nice.
Great
What was the name
info,
of the
thank you.
company?
Stamp. It's like
Stamp?
STANNP.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know there's a couple other ones like that. That was the most affordable one that I've found. And once you make an account, you know, it's really easy to pop back into. So with this, obviously we've done a really good job covering all of these and cost with it. Clearly, there's a lot of stuff you can do that's free. Calling, texting, conversations, free. There's a whole lot of marketing material you can get for free or really cheap. A birthday card, you know, if you're mailing something like that to people, throw a $5 or $10 gift card to Dutch Bros or something into it. That's also very affordable. Stamps are like 75 cents. All of that is really not too bad. It's when it starts to pile up. So with those big farming areas and stuff, that's kind of you know, at your discretion how many you want to do at a time. But informative videos, I really like that too. I've started implementing that. So listings I have, instead of just like a basic weekly, like, hey, it's me, Kaylin, checking in, you know, the market is kind of weird right now. Sorry, we haven't had any showings lately. I will just pop out my phone really quick, take a video. I'm like, hey, so-and-so, you know, it's me. I just wanted to pop in. I attached a market report for this past month in our MLS. I just wanted to let you know the days on market is 93 days. Your house has been on the market for however many days. And even if you don't have something really good to share, like, oh my gosh, we had 18 showings and 4 offers this week. Like, you can still just show them yourself, take a quick video of yourself, send it to your clients you have. And I think that that goes really far. I have really good success doing that, especially if you have a lot of people you want to talk to at once. You could definitely record the same video one time and send that to all of your different people separately. There's nothing wrong with that either. You could even do that for people's birthdays. So if you've got people in your sphere or in your CRM that are your leads, you can just be like, hey, I just wanted to hop on and tell you happy birthday. I don't know, something very simple like that. Send it with a little emoji and it's just a little bit more exciting than a text. This heater's kicking on, so hopefully you guys can hear me. My experience is that obviously the most expensive thing typically is an event. I usually do one client event a year. I'd like to do a couple. You can do whatever you want with this. There's people that will rent out a movie theater. You can rent out, you know, block out a whole room for movies, invite everybody, clients, friends, family, that fuzzy ROI sphere you kind of start to reach out to over time. Have them bring a friend. You can do movies. So like when I did this spring was like a Mother's Day floral bouquet making thing is what we did. So it was flower bouquets. It was a bouquet bar. So I went to Trader Joe's and bought a ton of flowers, took them to a local bakery here and set up there, and I invited everybody, and it was free to them, but it cost me like not even $500, and I had a lot of people come and make a ton of bouquets. So it was like a hand in hand. It was a win-win for both of us because my friend owns the bakery, so I had way more people coming through her doors. People were already coming into the bakery to shop, and so they would see my bouquets, and I was like, yeah, like, you know, happy Mother's Day weekend, feel free to take a free bouquet, and people would just kind of put a couple stems in their little flower. I didn't even do vases, I just did little paper flower bags off Amazon, printed my logo stickers, put one of those on every single bag, so people that weren't even there for me left with a little bouquet bag with my information on it. And I've had 2 people call me from that were not my clients. They were in there shopping at the bakery that have called me to list houses. And one's like a $700,000 house. So just being out in the public doing something fun is always exciting.
That's a good idea for Christmas wreath or something.
Yeah, you could do something like that. Depending on where you're at, you know, there's a lot of different small businesses you can kind of partner with to do creative things, but the options are endless as far as events go. And if you've got like a really great neighborhood and that's your farming area, you could definitely do a really fun neighborhood event. I know some people that will do like you can do it for holidays, like do like an Easter bunny, hire a photographer to do quick little like, you know, one picture per family type of thing. Like you can set up a quick little photo booth thing, and you can sponsor that so people can come swing by your event. They get to leave with a picture. Like, there's all sorts of creative things you can do that don't have to cost a lot of money. Another one is like pies, and like you said, wreaths around the holidays. You can set up something, and like client appreciation, you can drop them all off, or people can come and pick them up. I think that as long as you're branding whatever it is you're doing so that people, friends, family that leave there have something that has your information on it, I think that's what matters.
Bow making class.
Yeah, you could do all sorts of stuff, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. You could do something for $100 or less and still get that reach out to a lot of people. So yeah, there's definitely fun things. And everybody's community, like we're all in different spots. Everybody's community has these different things you can do too. Different businesses, different public places, parks, movie theaters, whatever, all these things you can utilize to lean into your community, which I think helps too. Okay, I'm reading your guys's packet with these notes in it. So communicating with value. Okay. Okay, so once you have made the lead, you're working on contacting the leads. We're working our way through talking to all of them. Something that is important, like we're talking about, there's so many things you can do to just be a genuine human. We also want to remind them of our value. So even if you're a new agent and you don't have a whole lot of stats to use, that's okay. Use the companies, use your local offices. You can still use that big branding to share that will then gain like market insight and market knowledge, because people will remember those stats you share with them, and they will come to you for the information and not be like, well, Kaylin, like you haven't even sold a house this year. Like, what are you talking about? They're going to remember the main information you share with them. So as long as you're sharing stuff that is relevant and, like I said, local, and you can use the offices or the companies or whatever, you can do that. And I think that's a great idea. You guys have questions so far? How's everybody doing? We're like halfway done.
Doing good.
Doing good.
You know, I like to use that Area Pro because then I can see when they open it up.
To do what?
I like the Area Pro because if I send that, then I can see when they open it up.
Right. And you know that they've got it,
Yeah.
which
So
is
you know
important.
it worked.
Yeah, exactly. I think something else to keep in mind when we're talking to leads is, you know, what type of person you're talking to. Don't get ahead of yourself and just start generalizing people. If somebody fills out a online form because they're a first-time home buyer, like you don't want to start sending them newsletters of investment properties or something like that. So just remembering that group that you're targeting and then kind of honing it in on each one. So if you have contact forms or anything like that out there, people are signing up for stuff. You might have first-time home buyers, you might have investors, you might have first-time home sellers. That's a whole category of people. They've bought their first home, they've lived in it, they've never sold a house before, and to them, that's a completely different thing than buying a house. So they feel just as nervous to sell it as they did to buy it. Just remembering who you're targeting and kind of detail it to each of them. Potential lead sources. Why are you thinking about buying or selling? Tell me more. Does anybody have like really good prompts that you use if you are calling leads? Nah, go with the flow.
I usually advertise a class or something. I've been partnering with a lender to offer different home buying classes. So I'm like, hey, I'm offering a class in your neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Or if there's a house, I was on a team. So if there was a house that was listed, or maybe in the future, obviously in the future that I have listed, then I will say, oh, I have this house in your neighborhood. I'll call that specific neighborhood. Your neighbor's selling their house. Want to come check it out? I'm hosting an open house. Or even just open houses in general if you're hosting for another agent. Hey, I'm going to be doing open houses in your area. You know, yeah, those have all been pretty effective for me.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot of inviting them to open houses, because it's like I am way more prone to do something if I have a reason to call them. Like I've got a direct point to make and this is it, rather than just kind of like, hey, it's me. You want to buy or sell a house? Like that's never something that has worked well for me. I think that using kind of an excuse, using a reason to call somebody will always work better because it comes off from a place of being more genuine, like, hey, I was really thinking of you because I've got XYZ going on. Another one is depending on lenders you work with, like you were saying, when you partner with people, any type of new, it seems like they'll have like a new little loan program going on, a new special thing with rates, or like a new buy down program, or a down payment assistance program, or different counties will do different grants. Anything like that could be a really great reason to use to contact people. So we have like a military base here in my town. So if there's anything kind of promotional going on with VA stuff, like the lenders I work with are pretty good about sending me either like a flyer or like a little blurb, something I can almost copy and paste. That's a really great way that's quick, effective, and does not require a ton of energy, but you can use things like that to forward on to anybody you might have in your database.
So on that, the RMLS, like they send you an email and that says what's going on, kind of what's going on in your area.
Yeah.
I was worried about like plagiarism with that. Can we use that or?
You should ask the person in charge of your local MLS, but you should be able to use it. I don't see why you couldn't.
Well, they do it for the whole state of Oregon is the newest one I got. And so I just picked the county that I'm in. And so it gave a whole bunch of numbers and statistics. But I was worried about like if I took that and pasted it to Facebook, I wasn't sure how that worked.
Is it like an MLS report?
Yes.
Yeah, you can use stuff like that. The stuff you have to be careful of, and maybe Carrie or somebody is on here and they can help elaborate with this later because I'm obviously not your guys' principal broker. So being mindful of your marketing and advertisement is really important because you have to be careful for how you describe your brokerage, the brokerage you're at, and what your title is. So you can't just say like Ken's Real Estate because it's not Ken's Real Estate, right? It's Ken at KWSO or whatever. So that's where you just have to be careful how you describe things like that. But it's always good to check with your principal broker first. Social media can be tricky and marketing can be tricky. So when in doubt, just send them a little text or a screenshot, be like, hey, is this fine to post like this? See what they say. And typically you're going to be fine. You'd have to be sharing something that's like false information. Thought I saw something in a chat.
From what I understand about that for social media, as long as the brokerage is listed on the main page, then it's okay. But I don't know if that's like specific to Sunset Corridor or what, but that's my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, you can't like call yourself you can't insinuate that it's like your own real estate company, you know, when you're at your brokerage. Things like that is just kind of where I think they get pickier about it. But whatever the MLS publishes for stats, that's all regular public information. So you can run like ranking reports and production reports and anything like that, and you can use all of that. So when I send those little video texts to my active listings, I record one for everybody I have, because I address them by name. So I'll say, hey, so-and-so, it's me. And I will run the same little PDF and I attach that at the bottom of every single one. So the one that I typically run for my MLS is just like a statistics report for the month I want to use. So I use it for the past month and it shows like active listings, you know, days on market, how that compares to last year, kind of like a little year to date summary, and you can share that with them because that's the true data. So which I think can be helpful too when conveying things like that to clients or just people in your database, sharing like, hey, we have like a really low amount of inventory right now. There's people out there that want to buy your house. Like, let me know if you want to list it, something like that. That's not a lie. You can use the MLS information like that.
I think it also shows that you're more knowledgeable than maybe you think you are.
Yeah, it does, because I mean, you can read MLS and inventory and reports for months and months at a time. So if you're like, hey, if you've got time on your hands and you memorize that for October of 2025, we've got this going on. For October of 2024, we only have this going on, and you have this many active listings and this many listings sold this month. Like, you could use all of that to your advantage, because it makes you feel like an expert, which ultimately you want to be. And if people feel like you know your data that you're talking about, obviously they're going to trust you. Whereas if you're like, you might talk to one of these leads you're making, they're talking to you on the phone and they're like, okay, well, how many houses are for sale in my neighborhood? You probably want to know before you have that conversation with them, and not be like, I'm gonna have to check and call you back. Like, you want to, get a feel for that stuff so that they get the right impression off the get-go. Okay, how's everybody doing now?
Doing good.
Good.
Good. Okay, we're about to the end of this part. Ahas. Aha. There's all this free stuff out there we can use, guys.
I don't know if anybody saw, but this morning on the Oregonian, it said that we are one of the top or first real estate companies that people like to use. I can't remember how it was stated, but anyways, we made the top. And I guess
Good.
it's 6 years in a row. So I'm like, well, that's sweet. That's something we can use.
You can, and you should. You could use it for free, like social media, text, email, add it into an email newsletter. You could pay and put it on like a postcard, something like that. There's so many ways you could be using that information.
Shoot, I didn't even know the Oregonian still was out there.
No, right? Okay, so everybody, if you have your packets, go to that post lead follow-up page. Some of you might already be there. For this post lead follow-up. Okay, so once you connect with somebody, you're making phone calls, you're going down the list, talking to people. Once that two-way communication has been started, then that lead becomes a contact because you've spoke to them, right? So it goes from just being like this cold little lead out there floating around, waiting to be nurtured. Then you can move them into your contact, which this is a case-by-case scenario. Sometimes it's texting, messaging, phone calling, emailing. I feel like, once it gets to a point of like, okay, I kind of know this person a little bit now, I know what they're looking for, you can move them over to your contact section. So then that's when more steps are required, because you want to keep nurturing them. You're not even just trying to like gain communication now, right? Those are fresh little leads. We've gained the communication with the leads, and now they're a true contact that we're talking to. And so we have to keep that warm, because now we want to stay front of mind. Okay. Do you guys all use different CRMs to keep track of people?
I use Command.
You use Command? Does anybody use anything different than Command? Okay, 1, 2 cement, the high value touch that solidifies the relationship you have just established and opens the door for future interactions. 1 high value touch. I feel like we all know once a lead has made it to that point, you have a really good phone call conversation with them. You meet them in person, you meet at their house for like a pre-listing type situation. They want to go look at a house with you, right? There's all these different types of leads you could have. So as soon as they get to that cemented conversation, then they're in contact with you because you know them now. So all that information you have about them, you can then share and go into the contact section, which in my opinion gets very similar interaction as your leads, just maybe a little bit extra. Like maybe these are ones that I would be sending those coffee cards to, because maybe we're friends on Facebook now. Or you know, the comments on Facebook, anything like that, like it's their kid's birthday party, whatever, cute party, updates on their house. Like there's so many things that you can be doing to just stay a little bit more relevant, like leads. If those people are strangers to you, like you don't have to go at them on Facebook. You don't want to be weird about it. But once you've kind of talked, you know each other, whatever, that's where they're naturally going to get a little bit more contact from you because you guys have established a relationship now. Ahas, another aha. I think that makes sense to all of you guys. Once you talk to somebody, it's different now.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay, we're transitioning to the success system. Are you guys all familiar with that?
No.
I think that's what they've been doing to summarize each of these classes to go together. So the call to action today is going to be planning your lead follow-up. So has your thinking changed? How do you feel differently about contacting your leads? Your behavior is different going forward. And then tools. I feel like tools is a really big one to take away today. It's just all of this different access we have to so many things that doesn't have to be overwhelming or scary. It can just be simple things you start implementing like in the cracks of the day. The success system. Okay. Has your guys' mindset shifted about talking to leads after today, you think? Does anybody feel like real motivated? You're going to go out there and go get them?
I really like what you did with your events, and hearing that they can be low budget makes me feel a lot more confident. So I'm excited to think of some ideas in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you at, Rosie?
I'm in Hillsboro. I'm with the Sunset Corridor.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit busier up there. You've got more stuff going on. You probably have like more businesses and things you could utilize.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is fun. Where I'm at, I mean, Klamath is rural, you know. I gotta drive over to Medford to go to Trader Joe's and get flowers. But you can make the most of it wherever you're at.
Yeah, at least they
Okay.
got one. It took a while, but they got one finally.
Right. Right? I like to go to Medford anyways. I go over there probably like 2 or 3 times a month and go to Costco and Trader Joe's and whatever. But yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can just be something fun. I haven't personally done the movie theater one, and I actually only know of one person in my town who's done that, and it was a inspector, which I think it was pretty good, but that might be a little bit more expensive. I'm not sure. I don't know if you can just book out like a movie showing. My advice would be to do a family friendly one, because I don't know if any of you guys have kids. Me having kids, that holds me back from a lot of stuff that is late in the evening, because I don't always have help with them. So as much as like, oh, a mom's night out sounds fun to go do whatever at 7 p.m. or something, like that's going to hold me back from doing a lot of stuff because it has to be realistic for me to probably take my family to. So that's a way of thinking that has shaped how I do a lot of stuff, because a lot of my clients are parents too, and we all have little kids. So everybody's different and everybody has different friend groups and ages, and I think that's how I would do the movie thing if I was to do it. Like, I know like Lilo and Stitch and some kid movies have come out recently. If I was going to do one, I would do like a family focused thing, because I think that you would be able to target more people. And even if it is older people, tell them to bring their grandkids, or, you know, something like that, like an excuse to invite anybody. Bring a friend, bring your kids, your grandkids, whatever. But the options are really endless. Do you guys have any good ideas to do fun events? I would like to hear.
I've had this idea of maybe making friends with somebody who owns like a food truck, and having them come to an open house, you
Yeah.
know? So like
Yeah.
dual advertising there.
Mhm. Rosie, do you do a lot of open houses up there?
Yeah, that's one of the main legs that I stand on for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Are your open houses pretty busy?
Sometimes if I get a good listing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my first sale ever I got from an open house, and it's because I took a few minutes to show them the pictures on the MLS of the house before the remodeling, and I made some jokes with the parents, and then several hours later they called me saying they wanted to work with me and that they wanted to put an offer in. So
That
open houses
probably
are great if you're bubbly. What was
Yeah.
that?
I said that probably felt great.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. They could have worked with anyone. They had been to several open houses. They had so many business cards, and they called me.
Yeah, that does feel great.
Mm-hmm.
I like your idea of taking videos and sending them to people, personal videos. I like that idea. I think that's a great one to make it personal.
Yeah.
I was talking to a client at 5 o'clock this morning. I'm like, oh man, it was 8 o'clock for him, but 5 o'clock for me. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, have a great day. I'm like, my day started, dude.
I'm gonna go get a coffee, I guess. Yeah, the video thing I think has been great. And it really doesn't take very long. My advice after doing it for a while is to try to keep it quick, because I am like, my ADHD spirals. I'll start talking to somebody, I'm rambling, I'm on 5 different tangents, like I'm ending not where I started. So my advice is keep it kind of short, kind of quick, try to keep it under a minute, literally because those are easier to text. It will go through easier to people. Just a short, quick message. You could use this for active buyers, prospective buyers, active listings, prospective listings, just people in your contacts. If you think they're a buyer or seller, you know, if you think they're leaning towards using a VA loan, you could use any little point to record a quick video of yourself and send that to those people. Because I think the point is that you're sending them a video so they hear your voice, they see your face, they remember you. That stands out to them more than a text message. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can just be something very quick.
I think you could also send it to your old clients.
Yep.
Thank you for buying this house through me.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Anything, like if you're thinking about people, like, you know, you'll think about something random 6 months later, like, oh, I was just in a house and I saw whatever and it totally made me think of you. I just wanted to pop in and I hope you guys are doing great and enjoying your house, anything like that. But I think that taking that extra, like, quick little minute to do the video text can be really helpful. And I think it's something, at least for me here, like not a lot of other people do stuff like that. So,
Well, and after a while, they remember your face. All of a sudden, because I was late because I teach gymnastics to 4 and 5-year-olds. And so I'm sitting there, you just kind of put it together for me on how I can follow through with those parents.
yeah,
All of a sudden it clicked.
yeah. I'm glad. It's exciting.
It is.
I feel like the more stuff we do like that over time that we get good results from is more encouraging too. Like if you're doing anything, whether Ken's dropping off business cards to people, whether you're doing the door hangers, whether you're talking to people with the text, doing videos, talking to people on Facebook, anything, the more conversation you get back, the more encouraging it is. And for me personally, especially when I was a baby agent, I was doing all these different things, trying to reach all these different people. And there was some things that were just kind of a bust. Like I would send out certain postcards or do whatever and just like kind of not hear anything back. And so it's taken a few years of evolving my communication and really honing in on the clients and the referrals I have and what fits us really well. Because those people are coming to me for a reason. Most of it is my personality, you know, I'm all over social media. That's a huge thing I do is my listing videos and I run ads for people. So they're used to seeing my face. So when I send them a video message, it's like exciting to them because they're like, oh my gosh, Kaylin sent me this. Like they want to stop what they're doing and hurry and listen to it. Whereas, you know, like a voicemail or something just doesn't quite get the same effect, but that's for everybody to go and decide what they want to do. I think, like I said, doing something is better than nothing.
Well, and you have to find what works best for you.
You do. And
I-
whatever you can be consistent with, you know, something that's comfortable enough to where you're gonna just keep doing it. That's what's most important.
Yeah.
I have to get brave though on that one because videos are going to be rough.
Yeah, the videos, my advice, just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Just quick, easy. Try not to like rewatch it and retake it 5 times. If you stutter, that's okay because you're a real person. They know you're a real person. That's why they're using us. They're not using AI or some Zillow, whatever. You know, they're coming to us for us, and we're real people. And you might have a runny nose and you're coughing or whatever, but they understand that, and they'd rather hear that any day than something fake online.
I
It makes
can
sense.
attest to that 100%. I share a lot of reels and stuff, and I did one like no makeup, just in my bathrobe with coffee, and that one got more views than any of them. I'm like, wow, even with my pimples? Okay.
Yeah, because that makes people feel good because we're all in the same boat, right? We're all just trying to survive life. Like we all feel the same way. So the more understood that those people can feel, I think the further it's gonna go. And that's typically what seems to work best for me. Like it's rare that you have leads that are just like a straight up denial, like they're just terrible, whatever, it doesn't work. Like some of that happens, but once people make it down your contact list, they're moving through the chain of contact, they're gonna appreciate being at a like a higher level of communication with you. You make them feel like a friend, right? They are a friend, so treat them like one. Okay, so
On that note, I feel like we should have the Montessori mindset and just call everyone friend. Don't you think? Hey, friend. Oh,
Yep.
do this for a friend.
Yep. Another thing too, like I feel like I call people guys a lot, like when it's a couple. I'll be like, "Hey guys," like I send the video typically to address both if it's husband and wife or something, like including them all in it. Another thing too, like, and I'm sure you guys do this, but just a group chat. So like if I've got a husband and wife client, buying, selling anything, I tell whoever my contact is to put us in a group chat so that we're all in it together. Because I don't ever want to be like just talking to the husband when there's a wife involved or vice versa or something, mother-child relationship, if it's like an elderly mom and the kids are helping her sell, like, anything like that. A little group chat can solve a lot of problems. And then when you're taking that extra step to make that little video, like it gets, more people are seeing it, everybody feels included, they feel like nobody's being left out, and you don't have to text people twice for the same thing. So
Good idea.
yeah.
I
And
do. I feel awkward talking to the man.
right.
If
I
it's
have
just
some.
1-1.
Yep. I have some where even like, especially VA or something, like it's only the husband that's technically on the loan, but I'm like, you're both buying the house, you're both gonna live in it, whatever, so I do group chats for everything. I think it just helps spread the communication out, and you're not relying on that one person to go tell the other person. So that's like one of the very first things I'll do, whether it's like husband and wife is just a lot of it. It's a lot of couples. It's occasionally an older person and then one of their kids is helping them coordinate, or vice versa, or something like that, or parents helping their kids buy a house. I just am like, hey, make a group chat with all of us, and that's like one of the very first things we do to start communicating, because then I kind of check all those boxes. Okay, so working together on the success system. So preparing a call list for the day, like who you want to call, you want to go down your list and start working on that. This is a system that top agents use to save time, is preparing ahead so that you're not really doing it like on the fly. You have it all mapped out and you can keep track of those people you talk to. So like I said, whether it's a notebook or something online or a CRM or a command or anything, keeping track of it. I like to keep notes of like called, so-and-so on this date, and like talk to them or left a message, right? You want to know because you might not remember the voicemails you leave for people, but you need to keep track of that somewhere and the dates that you left messages, so that you can obviously reference that. I feel like that's another thing too you can use to talk to people. Depending on your system you use, you could even be like, hey, so-and-so, it's me. Like I left you a message on whatever date. Not sure if you got it, anything like that. But just keeping track of all your stuff is always a good idea. Okay. reading my notes about the success system for today. Just daily habits. You guys have all of this stuff down though. The do not call list. How many of you guys are actually like gathering phone numbers and cold calling people like that?
Me.
Where do you get them from? And does
Well,
it have the do not call on it?
yeah, so I was on a team and we got Brivity leads and I also did Mojo. And on Mojo Dialer, there's an option to filter out those who are on the do not call list. And then in Brivity, it'll auto populate next to the phone number if it is on the do not call list. So I wouldn't call on any of those.
Right.
Unless the person has agreed to continue talking to me by continuing to talk to me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or they registered on the website or looked at a property. That's basically consent from what I understand. And then, yeah, we start engaging from there.
Do you feel like there's a lot of them that originally are do not call and then in one way or another they do end up opening the line of communication?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes consistency, but yeah, a lot of people do end up answering. Sometimes, it'll be a dud like, "Oh, sorry, I already bought a house. I was just curious about my neighbors," or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually they end up answering and at least answering your questions.
Yeah.
So I got one the other day on, because I do a lot of open houses, and so I figure once they sign in, then their phone number, they've given it to me. But I got an email the other day that I sent them a thank you for coming to my open house. It declined it. It would not go through. So
Yeah.
they have some kind of a setup that you can't send them. I'm like, this thing's getting worse. These people are getting smarter.
Another one that I have found is sometimes when doing the mailing address stuff, I don't usually do the title company one. I do mine from RPR. And when I generate those, when I go to export it, there will be like a section that you can include it or not include it, but like the basically like do not mail type of list. So you can see that on there too if people have signed up for that stuff. And don't want mail, I guess, but yeah.
So when you go to the RPR, where do you go when you go through your RMLS? When you do that?
You guys just go to like RPR, like it's like narrpr.com. Do you guys ever play around on that?
Haven't yet.
No.
I just
Yes.
do the RMLS only.
Okay, so through NAR membership, you guys should all be able to access RPR, which is Realtors Property Resource. I love RPR. I know that's not what I'm on here to talk about today, but I use RPR all the time. You can find addresses like that. You can run farming areas for general areas. You can do the same type of thing where you can filter out how long they've been homeowners. All of those same things. You can look at property information. It kind of gathers all sorts of information on there. It kind of has price estimates, things like that you can use that are a bit more updated than like obviously a Zestimate. But yeah, I use RPR a lot for marketing.
Use a map to do the farming also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff on there. That's another one that's a totally free resource to use. Okay.
You gonna put your Facebook on here so we can follow you?
I can at the end if you guys want.
I do.
I'm
I like
reading. it has all these notes for the success system. So those of you guys that have been doing this, have you guys been kind of like role playing throughout this? Not as much.
I was on a team and I was getting up like at 4 or 5 in the morning and doing it with a couple of guys that were somewheres, I don't know, somewheres in the country, but I stopped doing that and I need to get back into it.
This has, so it has like this section of almost like live calling leads throughout here, but I feel like we've been talking a lot. See, yeah, this role play. I knew this was coming up. Basically preparing the conversation list to call leads, which I know this is part of this material in here. Role play lead generation. Did you guys do this one on the one on Monday? Call any live leads during the Zoom?
No.
Or if Kayree's on here. I feel like you guys have, I mean, do you guys want to do that on here?
Lots of jumpers there.
I know.
I think it would be beneficial to hear you do one. I always like to hear different agents and how they approach calling.
I think that is a great idea, Rosie. You're gonna make me blush. Okay, let me think about somebody good that I could give you guys, like, what, I don't know. I don't want to be weird. Is that helpful to you guys to maybe see how I would like flow communication with people?
Maybe
Always.
you practice calling one of us.
Yes.
I could do that. Okay, let me click through these and see. Yeah, see, I think it wants us to do this like live. Oh, enrichment. Yeah, follow-up calling, lead generating, basically going down the list calling. That's why these warnings are on here, is because if we're calling people live, like, you can't share stuff, people's information, calling or texting the do not call list. Which, like I said, maybe Kayree is on here and there might be people in the actual room that want to take time to do that. Yeah, it's already 2:30. I still have a chunk of stuff to go through too, though. I feel like we're getting pretty good conversation, like communicating ideas with each other. So I don't want to have to put you guys on the spot to take a chunk out to do that if you want to keep going through it. Unless somebody has some leads they want to call while we're all together. Does anybody?
No, I don't.
Okay, so let me see where this ends and then we'll talk for a second. There we go. Okay. So what do you guys feel like you're most curious about? Like calling or texting general leads or converting people like that? Give me some questions and I will help give you guys examples.
Vaccine?
Not sounding overly salesy, pushy, or weird when trying to get people's phone numbers. Like, let's say you're Facebook friends and maybe haven't hung out in 10 years, but you really want to market to them. So how do you ask for their email and phone number without being weird?
Okay. Great question. Well, somebody said something before that I couldn't hear though.
Vaccine.
Oh, texting.
Yeah.
When you're texting, are you talking about like general, what types of phone numbers do you have? Are these people like your friends and family or beyond that?
Beyond that, they are, client that it's a lead basically. Yeah. It's just a
Just
lead.
kind of like a cold lead, somebody you're
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I am texting colder leads, so when I think of cold leads, I think of I got these people's information from some sort of like data collection service, right? So something I used to do a lot of was like Google Forms, or just it was pretty much always my own forms. So like leads you get through your office or through your team or anything like that, those could fall into the same category, right? It's somebody's information who kind of signed up and like they're a little bit interested in real estate because they're here, but like you're not really talking to them yet. So if you don't want to pick up the phone and call them, which is probably what I would try to do first, I would, depending on where they came from, right? So I would figure out what source that lead is. Like, did they sign up for some sort of first time homebuyer thing? Or they clicked on a link for listings? Or even more helpful, like one specific listing is where that lead came from. So you know they want that information. So some offices will do like floor, things like that. You get emails or walk-ins or phone calls, things like that. I would kind of consider all of those like a coldish lead. I would go direct to the point. So say they sign up for something and they're interested in just like active listing, something just broad. I would have my little notebook down, right? Because taking notes is what helps me feel organized, and it makes me feel confident because I've got their name, I've got their phone number, I have whatever they're calling about. I can kind of go back and forth to that stuff, jot little notes down as I'm going. I would always recommend doing that. Because it never fails. You get off the phone with somebody and you're gonna forget like some sort of detail. So my advice, take a deep breath, rip it off like a band-aid. Pick up the phone, call them. Okay. They answer, they're like, hey, it's Rosie. Like, hey, Rosie, this is Kaylin Robinette. I saw that you just signed up for this list to get information about active listings I have in Klamath Falls, Oregon. I just emailed you over the list of active listings. Did you get it? She might be like, no. You're like, okay, well, it might have gone to your spam, but I'm going to resend it to you again. Is your email rosie@outlook.com? And I mean, like, hopefully she says yes. And then you say, okay, I'm going to resend it again. I just resent it. Let me know if you got it. She might not get it. Like, okay, well, do you have an alternate email I can send it to you? Or better yet, I can text it to you if this is your cell phone number. It's a very rare, I feel like, that people have home phones. Not that they don't, but not a lot of them are out there anymore. Most of the time, it's a cell phone that you can send a link to, which I think is huge because some people like to email. Obviously, we email a lot for work. It feels a little bit more professional. This is why I'm more prone to texting people though, because it's less worky, less spammy, less like, hey, I'm emailing you this information. It's like, hey, I'm gonna text you a link really quick. You generate the link, right, for the flex listings or MLS listings that they're interested in, and you send them it like that. And I would do that while you're on the phone with them. Say, okay, I'm gonna put you on speaker really quick. Hang on a second. I'm gonna text you this link. Let me know if you get it. And then just kind of like, you know, wait, see if they get it. And then hopefully they do, right? And then I always try to end with like some sort of like, not just like, hey, well, bye. Let me know if you need anything. Try to like engage in something that's going to give them a reason to talk to you again. Do you guys have ideas? Is there where do you guys feel like you would get hung up on specifically?
I'm a real estate agent. Oh, like, okay, I thought you meant like hung up on like on the phone. As soon as I say that, I get hung up
Just say
on.
you're a real estate agent and that's where
Oh, yep. Oh, I'm a local real estate agent. Click.
yeah, that's rough, Rosie.
I always try to put notes in there, like sometimes they mention they have a dog or their kids or I don't
Yep.
know, some function or something. And so I try to remember those little specifics and then put them into my notes as quick as I can so I don't forget. Because
Yep.
then it gives me a conversation the next time or the following time or whatever.
Yeah. I think another like excuse, if that happened to me, Rosie, I probably, right, so you have that initial reason for contacting them, which is in my mind, they're either a buyer or a seller. Like that's the broad funnel they go into, buy side, sell side. Even if they're a seller, like, but it's very vague, they still might be interested in active listings because they're either having to sell their house or buy another house or something. So if somebody like really hung up on me like that, but I know they were kind of looking for something, I probably would just put together like a MLS link of whatever it is. You know, I could use the most information I can and just text it to them and be like, hey, it's Kaylin. Like I always use like a smiley face or something, an emoji, because that's like less robot like, you know, it gives you a little bit of personality. Hey, it's Kaylin. I think we got disconnected. Here's this link, smiley face. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if any of these properties could be what you're looking for. I've got time open this weekend. If you want to check out any of these in person, let me know. I always try to give people options. You know, so if they're a buyer, maybe they signed up for a homes list or something like that. So I know they're looking at houses. I'll say, hey, I'm free this weekend. I'd love to meet for coffee and do an initial buyer consult or a pre-buyer consult, which is something I like to do. Let me buy you a coffee and we can get to know each other and see if we're a good fit. If they're just kind of like cool, dipping their toes in the water, first time home buyers, maybe very anxious. I also make packets. You can make like little booklets for buyers and sellers. So that was something I used a lot when I was working with prospective buyers and first time home buyers. Like, hey, I would love to get you a coffee and hand you my first time home buyer packet. It's full of really good resources and you know, it can help provide clarity for what the home buying process kind of looks like. And you can just tell them like it's something, you know, I've put together. I hand make this and update it so it's got really important data, and this can be a really good tool for your home buying journey. Depending on what you put in stuff like that too, like I just take it case by case, but just really trying to be a friend, which is not false, you know, because if somebody is like the opposite personality of me, like I don't know that I always want to work with them. So I kind of like to like feel out that water before I get too deep in it. And I think a lot of people feel the same way because there's so many real estate agents, right? So they're kind of hesitant. They're like, it kind of makes them pull back. But if you're just like, hey, I've got time this weekend, let me know if you're around. We could meet at whatever coffee shop or just say you'll be there. I'll be at whatever coffee shop, you know, around this time. I'd love if you could pop by and I could hand you one of my first time homebuyer packets, and that might help answer some of your questions and provide clarity. Or like you were talking about your open houses, I feel like that could be another really good one, but making it a little bit personal, like, you know, you got whatever lead. Hey, so-and-so, I'm going to be holding an open house at blah, blah, blah this weekend. I know buying a house can be really intimidating. I'll throw in an extra first time homebuyer packet. And I would love if you could swing by and I can give it to you, you know, something like that, that makes them feel like it's very intentional. You did that intentionally for them to take.
All great info. Thank you. I like how you turned that around. Instead of just owning the rejection, you turned it around and gave them the benefit of the
Yeah.
doubt.
I would give
That's
people the
great.
benefit of the doubt for as long as I could. And honestly, sometimes it's true. And I feel like sometimes people don't know how to respond maybe, or they're just like scared. So they do that. And then they probably would end up feeling bad because they're like, oh, Rosie's just a girl, like, you know, and then they probably will end up wanting to talk to you. Another thing I send a lot with first text messages is do you guys all have like a digital business card? A little business card that you can text like an image of?
No,
Ken,
Not
no.
yet.
I recommend everybody goes and makes one. You can make them, like I said, on Canva for free. So you can even change it. It doesn't have to match your same business card. I always like to include a little link or little icons with my social media stuff on there. Just make a little digital business card and download it to your phone. So it's not like a janky screenshot, like have the actual little picture saved just how it is. And when you text people for the first time, you can use this for vendors too, like inspectors, lenders, anybody. This comes in handy for me a lot too, like agent to agent, because it has a picture of me on it. So they see that, you know, I'm me. Like it puts a face to my name when we're communicating.
It makes sense.
Yeah. I like the digital business card a lot. Like I said, I use that often. And when I am working my way down a list, texting cooler leads, if it's people I have not already texted before, I'll include that. Or if it's people you have been texting, right? Like you guys have lists of leads that you've been working on communicating with. It could be somebody you've already talked to on the phone, you've already emailed with, you've already texted them before, but obviously haven't sent them this. Just attach that with your next text. Hey, just popping in, it's me again, whatever, you know. I think that anytime you can attach something that gives yourself some personality in life, like the better off you are and the less cold in marketing it feels. So if you have a digital business card, that's a picture of yourself, which is a really great way to insert that into a professional conversation. without just like a selfie. Hey, it's Kaylin. Call me when you want to buy a house. Even though sometimes that might work.
I used to have one with my business card, but when I switched companies, now I've lost it and I can't remember how to do it.
Yeah.
So I have
Do
to
you,
redo it.
do you have Canva?
Yes,
Good.
love it.
I love Canva too. I use Canva a lot.
Yeah, I liked it because I did an open house. And because I'm a female, I put a male voice on it so that way I kind of figure they're not going to know if it's a female at the open house or a guy if it's a bad person.
Right.
Someone thought it was a mistake and they're like, you put a male voice, but you're a female. Yep, that's right.
Like, yeah, so.
On
Okay, so
that note, can you share, I mean, woman to woman, any advice when it comes to safety? Hate that that needs to be a conversation, but just in general, any warning signs to look for, just any experience if you feel comfortable sharing.
yeah, I feel like this is a really great side tangent I could go off on. Okay, so to keep it precise, I think being diligent is always important. And especially now that I'm a mom, I'm like hyper aware of my surroundings and situations and reading people. I'm also a very blunt person. If somebody's giving me off vibes, I'm like, okay, you can go. Bye. There's the door. No hesitation. I think that being very direct with people gets you very far. So like if you're hosting an open house, some guys are weird. Let me circle back to this, Rosie, because I'm gonna have a conversation with you about this. But generally speaking, as a realtor, being by myself all the time, I have a concealed carry permit. So I have my pistol everywhere I go. And I know that's not everybody's thing, but that's
Me
the life
too.
that I live. Good. Good. I would highly recommend packing that heat on you everywhere you go and you learn how to use it and you're confident with it. Because at the end of the day, you can do all of the things to try to be diligent and protect yourself. But if you're by yourself, nobody's going to protect you but you. And that's something that gives me a lot of confidence. Go out to the woods and show property. I don't really care, you know, it's work. And at the end of the day, I know that I can protect myself if I need to. So that's the business I stand on. That's my number one. As far as like details rolling into that though, like I said, I think I have a pretty assertive personality. So when I think of safety situations, I think of showing homes, going to listings, you know, meeting people and open houses. So along the lines of safety situations, depending on your circumstances, if you have a male colleague or a husband or boyfriend or a brother or literally anything, right? So say someone calls you and they're like, hey, I want to meet at this house, and you're maybe just getting weird vibes, or a listing thing and you're getting weird vibes, anything. I think you could either tell them ahead of time, okay, that's fine. Well, my assistant is going to be shadowing me. Whatever. Okay, you bring somebody along with you. I think that's a great out. I do that with my husband on occasion. It's not often that I'm in a situation where something feels weird, but if so, I have zero hesitation to just bring somebody else with me. And I think that that can help a lot. Even if it's another female, somebody from your office, whatever, like, hey, you want to come with me? And just like setting the presence that there's multiple of you, I think can help. And not being afraid to say that, like, hey, this weird ass dude just called me. Like, I don't think I want to go alone. Anybody want to jump in with me? There's nothing wrong with that. Also, though, if it is somebody calling you or saying something weird, just saying no. If you have a bad gut feeling, hey, I actually can't help you out that time, but let me see if I can find somebody to refer you to that could. Or I can't show you that property at that time, but let me see if there's somebody in my office that could. Being really confident and being able to say no to situations that feel wrong, I think is important. And not feeling like, well, I'm going to lose this lead if I don't do it, or I'm going to lose out on this client if I don't do this, or whatever. You have to listen to your intuition and you have to keep yourself safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Have
use
you?
sit
You're-
outside too. I always stay outside, like either by my car or I'm always outside. I very rarely sit inside the house.
For open houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys live in a city, so maybe, that's a different story. I live in a smaller town, so I can do that, but
Well, and you should always let somebody know where you're going too.
Yep. Yep. I think yeah, communicating, like before I had kids, when I was doing real estate and I was in my physical office more, anytime I was out, I'd tell my principal broker or my colleague or whatever, hey, I'm gonna go show this house at whatever time. Texting like a little itinerary. If it's somebody you've never met, I feel like that's typically when you're a little bit leery. Most of the time, when we're lucky enough to get good referrals rolling over, it's people or family or you know what I mean? Like you have less to be worried about. Sharing your location. Like I share my location with my husband. And I would share it with more people too if I was ever in a situation where I felt like I needed to. There's nothing wrong with turning on your phone location, telling somebody where you're going. I think just making it really obvious. So when I think of like sketchy situations, it's probably unfortunately always like a man or somebody that would make me feel uncomfortable. And I just would have no problem saying like, sorry, I got something came up. I'm gonna have to talk to you later. If it's meeting for a showing and you're talking to them in the front yard before you go into the home. Just being really comfortable with saying whatever that is, because you're not obligated to do anything for anybody. You're not obligated to go to the house. You're not obligated to let them in. You're not obligated to let them in for your open house. Like you don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. As far as small details that I've learned over the years for safety tips, things like not parking in the driveway. You could get stuck in the driveway, like if people tried to come in behind you or something, trying to park on the street if you can, so you have easy access to get out. Obviously, like you're going downstairs in a basement, don't be the first one going into the basement. Those are the main things that come to my mind. Klamath is pretty small, like knock on wood, we don't have a lot of crazy stuff like that happening hardly ever. And if so, it gets spread very fast. If somebody has a call or they're being set up by some creep to meet at vacant houses, whatever, it's gone around the town in our real estate chats and all the offices know about it. Do you guys have any like specific circumstances or weird things like that you've encountered?
Yes, I had one.
You did.
Yeah, my first showing, not showing, but my first open house with new I had a agent was showing me, and the like 3 minutes before we finished the open house, this guy comes out and he looked really scary, and he told us like, oh, we said, oh, we're almost done, we're closing, and he was like, well, you guys still have 3 minutes. And we were putting our stuff on the car. So the other agency told him that to go inside and look. The house was old. It was like long driveway, scary. It was winter, and she told him go inside. And he went and like literally came back after 1 minute, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna bring my wife, and can you guys, one of you, come back and show to me? And that agents asked, do you have an agent? And he was like, yes. So why don't you ask your agent? And but he looked really, really scary. He really was assisting us like to come inside and show it to him too. It was just scary. It was really weird.
It is scary.
So yeah, it was really, really scary. And then so we did say, no, and he was just kind of upset and left, really. And he wasn't wearing ring at all, wedding ring. So she was like, she put it after we left, she put it on the KW email and saying that just be careful. Yeah.
I had an experience where somebody was posing to be somebody else. It was really weird. On one phone call, they sounded like, I don't know, maybe of Indian descent. And then the next phone call, they sounded like maybe they were like African descent. And then I have to meet with them on Zoom. And you could kind of just vaguely tell that it was an AI filter. and he was being really creepy, just saying weird things. And so that was a little bit odd. And so be careful with technology, you guys. Like, I'm pretty young and very up to date with all of the software and tech, and this was really impressive.
Yeah, there's definitely there's weird real estate scams out there. When I was newer, I used to get Zillow leads through the office I worked at, and the leads that I would get on there, like I wouldn't even call them a lead. It was like a waste of time. It's like not even real people. Like very rarely would you get something that was like somebody you could actually talk to. And I had a couple of times, it seemed like it was always people trying to buy something. Like they would sound foreign in some way. They'd call on Zillow. Oh, I want to hurry up. I want to write an offer on whatever property. Hurry up. I want to write this. The other thing is if you're communicating with somebody online, ask them for a picture of their ID. Okay, I'll get right on it. I need a picture of your ID. What's your email? What's your mailing address? Like that's basic information. Any real person buying or selling real estate has no problem sharing their information with you. And if people are giving you like a wishy-wash runaround, I would just tell people like, I don't have time for this. This is go try to scam somebody else. I don't even know what they try to get out of it other than a waste of time. There's obviously scams like that with sellers, you know, people will pose as the seller because they're trying to get money from it, but I don't know. I don't know how far they think they're gonna make it before somebody realizes they're not the true seller of their property, you know, once you start looking at a deed. And I think that that's a pretty basic like initial step if you're meeting anybody at a home for any sort of like pre-listing appointment. Obviously check the online information and the deeds and make sure the names are matching up. And if it doesn't, you just ask them. If it says like Mary Smith owns it and some dude named Wiles on the phone, say, Kay, where do you own this? You know, I'm not saying you on the deed, like, you know, you're in control. You hold the power as the real estate agent. They're coming to you for help in one way or another. So, yeah, I think just being really clear and direct about anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. And I would have no problem telling people that either. Like, you know, if it gets to a point where it's like weird, I would just be like, okay, this is weird. I'm gonna pass you off and have my principal broker try to help you out because you know, anything like that. While I'm thinking about weird situations, this is an example that is probably not isolated to Klamath Falls. This could happen anywhere. This was before I had kids too. I was showing a house, obviously by myself. And I was showing a house to this younger couple that was great. They were not the problem. It was in our downtown Klamath Falls area, and this house was vacant. And this had to have been like 2021, I guess, like right after COVID. You know, stuff was already kind of weird then because they weren't really doing foreclosures for a while. So there was a lot of these weird properties that had like tenant holdover things. Tenants wouldn't leave, or they were vacant homes. People didn't want to put tenants in because of the tenant law, you know, whatever. Anyways, I showed this house to the clients. They leave. I typically always go back around the house, lock the windows, lock the doors, shut off the lights, do the thing, you know. And so I'm making my way back around and I hear something outside and I look out the window and there's like 7 shirtless homeless dudes with a dog, like making their way up the porch and into this house. And I was like, what? So I run and I lock the front door. And the way that this house was situated, it was up on like an elevated corner lot downtown. So there's only one set of stairs in and out. Like there's a house right behind it, you know, like you can't get down from this house. You can't jump off this ledge. And so essentially, like I'm cornered in this house with these homeless guys outside. And in the home, I had got the suspicion that somebody was squatting in it. And yeah, I mean, it was terrifying. I had like my keys and a pocket knife and my phone, and ultimately I had to call 911. But these guys were everywhere. They're pounding on the windows, they're looking at all the windows, trying to get into the house, and I'm like trying to hide, you know, trying to not let them see you. And yeah, like you could tell they were totally used to coming and going from that house, and they just were packing they had tool belts and dressers and whatever they were bringing up into it. That was probably one of the scariest situations I can remember. And so I called 911, you know, and I obviously told them the situation. they were so slow. They were so slow to get there. I'm like hiding in a closet, hoping they don't break in, because at that point, like, how am I gonna get past them? You know, there's only one door in, only one door out, and it was like within like a minute of my clients leaving the house. It was like very quickly. Like clearly they were hanging out, saw them leave, thought the house was empty, and I was still in it when they came up. So not that that happens often, but yeah, I've shown a lot of houses like that that are like you know, sketchy, meth labish houses. I think just being aware of all your surroundings. It might not always be your client that's the problem. It could definitely be an outside influence that is the problem.
That sounds terrifying. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, there we go. There's a chat. Anyways, yeah, we're just about done. I'll try to get through the rest of this stuff, but if you guys have questions, just pop on while I go through here, okay? Enrichments. Okay, so this is getting to the end. Using command. Do you guys all know how to use command to enter your contacts into?
I entered some in, yes.
Perfect. Does anybody not know how to use command to enter contacts into? I think we're good. Clearly, you guys are all here because you're with Keller Williams. Command has all of these buttons along the side in here to enter opportunities into any phase and your contacts. They make it super easy for you. You can go in there and you can add notes. You can customize them however you want so that they can fit all of those categories. I think that you guys are all already familiar with that though, from learning about generating leads. But that's pretty much the end of it. Is more aha moments. Hopefully you guys all kind of learned something today. It was nice getting to talk to all of you guys, and yeah, if anybody wants to be friends with me on Facebook and Instagram, that would be fun.
Are you out of the Infinity office?
No, I'm at the regular Klamath Falls office. I just don't go into the office.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I'm at.
What are your
Oh,
What are your social media followers?
my oh, take me back to my Zoom. Hang on, let me figure out how to stop this.
Ladies, I've got to go to another appointment, so it's nice talking to you all.
Nice talking to you too, Ken. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Bye. My Instagram is the Klamath Falls Realtor. And then my Facebook is well, obviously I have my personal one. We can be friends. My personal one is Kaylin Robinette. It doesn't have my name on here though, I don't think. It says I'm like Tanja because it's the host of the
Yeah, that's the name that shows up for every meeting.
yeah. I was like, I don't think it doesn't have my name on it. Yeah, Kaylin, Kailyn, and then my last name is Robinette, Robnett. And my Facebook, I think it's the same. It's like Kaylin Robinette. Well, let's see, guys. Kaylin Robinette, Oregon licensed realtor, Keller Williams Realty. That's another thing. So let me see if I can click that out. Me here. You guys can see that. That's me. See, it's trying to blur the whole thing. I have that as my name because when I make posts, that covers the basis for adding your brokerage name, you know. That's just like another little fun hack is I just have that for my Facebook, which it doesn't fit for Instagram. So that still has to be added on Instagram, but anyways. Yeah, I'd love to follow you guys and we can stay in touch. And like I said, I'm not on the host side often, so this was a lot of fun, but it's something that I do find fun because I think keeping in contact with leads can be fun. It doesn't have to be boring and it doesn't have to be like icky and cold. It can be fun and you can always find creative ways to just stay top of mind with people.
Thank
This was really
you.
helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys.
You.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
bye, guys.
you.
Bye.
Talk to you later.